It was one super night at the Tribute. Donith hulks up at Utica Rome. We go in the pits for a man known for going to the outside. Hey Trevor, hope you enjoy a very good show. This is Race Pro Weekly. Please don't ruin it. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Race Pro Weekly. I'm your host, Mike Warren. Last Tuesday night at Albany, Saratoga, it was the Tribute in honor of Super C.D. Coble and Jumpin' Jack Johnson. With a heavy field of cars coming into the Malta Oval, who would be your winner? Let's head to our opening highlight brought to you by Landho Maintenance to find out. I'm Mike, by the way. I announce here with Dan. That I do know. Well, now that we're acquainted, we'll get to the 61-lap feature event where RJ, Ronnie Johnson, took home the early race lead in this one, working it up on the inside lane. Craig Hansen trying to fight his way through the field as C.D. Coble, Stuart Friesen, had a moment there for a second, trying to work his way on the inside lane, but it was Super Matt Shepard on the move in that 9S trying to work his way through. Eric Rudolph in there as well. And here's Shepard already working his way up into the top three, trying to make a move off the corner as he would get by Jeremy Wilder for position. Wilder would work his way up as here comes Kenny Tremont as well on the outside lane in the number 115 machine, looking to try to make it work. Wouldn't be long before Shepard would move into spot number 2, and well, we've all seen this book before. Shepard on the outside lane, taking that Dentist Company's car number 9S up on the cushion to take the race lead away from Ronnie Johnson up off of turn number 4 as the 9S was a man on the mission. Eric Rudolph trying to work his way up to the field. He get by Brian Gleason for position along with the 61 of Stuart Friesen as Friesen and Hearn do battle as well up through turn number 1 and 2. Chris Bernold having a great run ahead of this group as well. Kenny Tremont trying to work his way up. He would move to the inside of the 93 of Danny Barron as Friesen works on the top side. They'd split him off the corner, but Tremont would be the faster car in this one and take advantage. Then Tremont wouldn't stop there as he'd go for the number 2 spot to get by RJ up off of turn number 2 this time in heavy lap traffic, and Tremont would be your new second place man. Friesen would then waste no time to get by the 2 RJ as well as cars trying to work their way up as Danny Barron sticks there. As Shepard still way out in front of this one. See some smoke coming to the white flag as time would run out. Tremont trying to catch him, but it wouldn't be enough as the 9S would hold on and take home the $6,112 prize. To last Friday night's action now, here's the pass for the lean up off at turn number 4 as Matt DiLorenzo goes around early race leader Jesse Mueller as the field would work its way up through the corner. Ronnie Johnson having a little trouble. Mark Johnson, who did not spin out on his own a week ago, a little correction for myself, trying to work his way up through the field. Jack Lehner and Bobby Hackle also having a great run in this feature event, working up toward the top 5 is now Johnson going to try to work on the outside of Jesse Mueller, but Mueller just too fast to the inside. But Matty D coming home for win number 1 on the season at Albany, Saratoga. Mueller would finish in second, Mark Johnson coming home third, Ronnie Johnson fourth, and Bobby Hackle would finish in fifth. Back to the top 5 from the Tribute, it would be Shepard picking up the win, Tremont coming home second, Friesen finishing third, Danny Barron fourth, and the long hauler in this one, Eric Rudolph, coming home fifth. The Lucas Oil Empire Super Sprints take on the Utica Rome Speedway as Utica Rome finally gets some weather to break their way. Bobby Barron would take the race lead in the early going with Billy V right to his outside as the 00 powers up through turn number 1 and 2. Sean Donith going to make a move on the inside. Matt Tanner there as well as they would get by Brian Holland down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, Barron holding on to that race lead, but not for long as here comes the 53 of Donith moving into the runner-up spot. Then he would get a great run up off by turn number 2 and power past the 00 machine as Donith goes to the front. Cars trying to work their way up. Keep an eye on this 3-wide battle. Matt Tanner, Billy V, and Brian Howland fight for position. That is for spot number 3 as Van Imwagen had it, but here's Brian Howland grabbing that spot away. Now we'll try to get the runner-up position up through turn number 3 and 4 to try to get by Bobby Barron for position. Down off the corner is now Howland going to have to move to the inside lane. He decides to do it. He will get by that 00 machine for the runner-up spot and try to set his sights on the number 53 Adonis. Matt Tanner going to look to follow on the inside lane as he would power past the 00 as well in lap traffic. Meanwhile, Brian Holland going to get one good shot at the 53 Adonis up off by turn number 3 and 4. Not going to be enough as Donith picks up a big win out at Utica Rome. Donith would pick up a big win. Howland would finish in second. Matt Tanner coming home third. Danny Barron fourth. And Bobby Barron would round out the top 5. Down to the Ulster County Bull Ring we go as the Wild Child, Andy Bacchetti, switching up his Friday night homes. He will now be a regular out at the Accord Speedway as Jammin' Jimmy Wells going to lead the field to the green in the feature event. Wells would take that early advantage. Andy Bacchetti trying to work his way up on the inside lane as Iron Mike Ricky takes a hard hit on the outside of turn number 3. Meanwhile, cars come together as Higbee and Boniface tag, and Boniface the one that goes around. Off the restart, Danny Creedon going to try to make a move on the outside lane to get by Wells for that number 1 spot. Richard Smith working to the inside, trying to get by Higbee for position off the corner as Perego also works his way up through the field. Tommy Johnson and Rich Ricky III come together. That allows Perego to stick his nose to the inside of that number 45 machine as he would get by Jerry Higbee as well and work his way into the top 4 in the very early portion of this feature event. Perego not stopping there as he would work to the inside of the 406R of Rich Ricky III up off of turn number 2 and take that position away as the caution comes out. Allison Ricky and Mike Ricky both involved off the corner. Then off the restart, it would be Jammin' Jimmy Wells back at the front with Creedon trying to pressure to the inside lane. Creedon almost there, but Wells drives it right back around him on the outside lane as that 831 was a man on a mission. Then the door opens for Perego to take the 2 spot away up off the corner, and he does. Andy Bacchetti trying to work his way past Richard Smith up off of turn number 2 that time. He'd gain another position down the back straightaway as Ricky trying to work his way up on the inside of Creedon for position with Higbee right on the back bumper. Meanwhile, as they work up off of turn number 3 and 4, here's Perego with a shot at Wells for the number 1 spot as they work down the front stretch. He tried again in that superior remodeling entry down the back straightaway, but Wells too strong as Jimmy Wells still out front picking up the victory. Second would be Perego. Rich Ricky Jr. would finish in 3rd. Jerry Higbee 4th, and Danny Creedon would round out the top 5. Kyle Roner would pick up the win in the Sportsman. Wingless sprints would go to Mick D'Agostino. Michael Corbin grabbing the win in the Rookie Sportsman. Pure Stock's going to go to Libby Johnson. Jesse Torrens in the 4 cylinders. And the 4-cylinder Enduro would go to Sean Maloney. It's now time for this week's John Ray & Sons fan poll question, which is, who will win Brett Hearn's Big Show 10? To cast your answer, head to Facebook.com/RaceProWeekly, and we'll read some of the answers you picked on next week's show. Taking a look at last week's question, it was, what are your thoughts on a Super Dirt Car Series race on a Friday in June? Well, this one is split down the middle 50-50. Half of you said you liked it, half of you said you didn't. Coming up on RPW, we'll make our first stop in the North Country as we head to the Airborne Park Speedway. And after that, we'll go down onto the high banks for a finish you won't want to miss.
Hi, I'm Eric Pope, General Manager of John Ray & Sons. We're proud to be offering Bryant heating and air conditioning systems. Just like us, Bryant has been delivering home comfort solutions for more than a century.
Call today for a free consultation and save up to $875 with Bryant bonus rebates.
I'm Michael Laporte, Service Manager. From sales to service, our goal is to keep you comfortable, whatever it takes. Ductless AC is a perfect solution for homes without ductwork, new additions, or anywhere you need cool relief.
Call or visit johnray.com today.
You know, Mother Nature makes the best products, and Ghent Wood Products in Columbia County has figured out the secret. We use locally harvested trees, milled and kiln-dried right on site in Ghent. We stock rough-cut lumber, green or kiln-dried. If you prefer finished products, we offer that too, including shiplap, flooring, paneling, exterior siding, and tabletops. Come check out the reclaimed mushroom wood and barnwood siding. We combine the mill experience with a retail store, so you can go straight to the mill and handpick the wood you want.
There's only one place in the Capital Region for you to get the full racing action. Stop down at the Bobco video booth at the track or call 518-399-0937. Bobco Racing Video, the next best thing to being there. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly and our first trip up to the Airborne Park Speedway where the 08 Ajax Speedshot was on the move. He'd get the lead from Jason McClatchy, but we go to the last lap as Dylan Raptoy right in front of your race leader and Nick Haywood looking to pounce. Final lap through turn number 3 and 4 in this Sportsman feature event. Speedshot tries to go low, gets a little out of shape off the berm, allowing Haywood to drag race by him for win number 2 on the season. To the modifieds now. George Foley would take the early race lead in this one as Travis Bruno looks to make a move on the outside lane of Roger Labreche. Down off of turn number 2. Chris Raby trying to make his way up, but Steve Bernier, the point leader, getting by him down the front straightaway. Later in this event, though, it would be Raby who would end up getting by both of these guys as he would get by Bernier and then get by George Foley as well off of a restart as Raby was the car on the move. You see him here going by Labreche at this point. But it would be the 0-1 coming off by turn number 4, easily winning his second of the season out at Airborne Park. Second would be Bernier. Third, George Foley. Matt Woodruff would finish in fourth, and Maxime Plante would round out your top 5. Back to the Sportsman feature event we showed you earlier. Nick Haywood would finish in the number 1 spot. Jamie Begor coming home in second. Jack Spisak having a hold on for third. Jeremy Watt would finish in fourth, and Jason McClatchy, the early race leader, would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night, Super Stocks for the third straight week would go to Tyler Terry, Cam Gadju grabbing his first win in the Mini Mods, and Sean Walker 4 in a row in the Strictly Stocks. The annual Bubba Tanner Classic brought to you by DMC Racing Products as Rob Yetman making the move of the race as he would get down and get by 3 cars into turn number 3 and 4 to take the spot away to try to cruise toward the number 1 spot as he'd move up to second as he would try to battle the 317 of Frank Twing. As they head down into turn number 3 and 4, Twing would bobble just enough through the corner, and that allows the 7 machine to take the race lead away up off of turn number 4, and he would cruise up off of turn number 2 as he was gone as he would pick up the win in this year's Bubba Tanner Classic. To the modified feature event now. Kyle Armstrong in the 11A going to take the early race lead away as Robbie Pitcher and Andy Bacchetti fight for position in the number 2 spot as the field works its way through the beginning of the race as the 2RJ going to work its way down on the outside lane. Keep an eye on this battle. Brian Berger and Robbie Pitcher for a number of laps in this event going side by side, duking it out like Rocky and Drago up off of turn number 2 as they would fight for position. And Berger working it to the inside, just can't clear the 17 of Pitcher as the 2 veteran campaigners at Lebanon Valley really pushing it off the corners. Meanwhile, here's the 99 of Colby Schroeder going to make a move past the 17 of Elmo Reckner for position as Brett Hearn and Kenny Tremont try to fight their way up through the field in what was a cautionless affair. Schroeder trying to make a move as the 17 of Pitcher breaks down the backstretch, but we head to the last 10 laps now, and oh boy, things were just getting started in this one as Andy Bacchetti trying to drop it to the inside to get by the 11A machine up off by turn number 4. Armstrong going to shut the door that time. Then he's going to try it again up off by turn number 2, and that Newtown Pools car number 11A is not letting it happen. Bacchetti drives it even deeper up off by turn number 4, but Armstrong still too strong that time. 4 laps left remaining. Bacchetti throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him off the corner. One last-ditch effort. Tries the bonsai move off the corner, but this time Kyle Armstrong says, I don't think so, buddy, as he picks up the win out on the high banks. Bacchetti would have to settle for second. Berger would finish in third. Kyle Sheldon coming home fourth. And Colby Schroeder would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night. Tremont picks up the win in the 358 modified. Sportsman would go to Chris Lynch. Rob Yetman, as you saw, grabbing the win in the Pro Stocks. Pure Stocks to Scott Morris. And Dom Denu picking up the other Pure Stock feature event. Down onto the hard clay we go. Sportsman action first is Jesse Limey going to the inside of Jared LeBeau for position, but Limey goes around. He'd work his way back up, but not enough time as LeBeau would pick up the win. To the modified feature now, Richie Urich going to take the early race lead here in this feature event at the Orange County Fair Speedway as the field would work, and Tommy Meyer on the move quickly, going to go around the Hallmark International car number 17, Matt Janiak up through turn number 3 and 4. Chris Whitehead there on the inside looking to make a move past PK Speed, but Crummel a little bit too fast. Meanwhile, Meyer continued to working his way up on the outside as he would try to go around C.G. Morey for position, then go to work on the outside of the sensational one, Jimmy Horton, as he would continue to push his way up through the field, and Meyer was coming quick. Point leader Anthony Perego trying to work his way up as well as he'd be behind Matt Janiak fighting for position as Meyer would clear the 43 of Horton, already cracking the top 3 as the caution will come out for the K3 of Danny Kronk. Up off the restart now, it would be Meyer trying to work to the inside to get to the number 2 spot, and he would, and trying to chase down the 10 of Richie Urich as they bring him down off of turn number 4. Perego working to try to get to spot number 3, trying to get around that number 43 machine of Horton off the corner. But now the battle was on between Meyer and Urich up off of turn number 4 as Urich shutting the door every time up off the exit of the corners. The 33 in the third throwing every fraction he could at him up off the corner as they roll side by side, dead even, crossing the line with just a handful to go. Meanwhile, Urich on the outside lane trying to keep it cleared, but this time it would be Meyer taking the race lead away with just one more trip around the Middletown Oval. That was all he was going to need as Tommy Meyer picks up a big win down at Orange County. Second would be Uric Horton would finish in third, Anthony Borrego fourth, and Hollywood. Craig Mitchell would round out the top five. Other winners on the night, Shane Jablonka grabbing the win in the 358, Sportsman, as you saw, going to Jared LeBeau, and the Street Stocks to Jim Hajowski. When we come back, we'll head to Can-Am, where there was another way to get things done. And we'll head to the Track of Champions, where a surprise winner made his way to Checkerboard Square. This is RPW.
Spring is finally here and the temperatures are rising and the deals are hotter than ever. Hi, I'm Charlie Morris of Morris Ford in Burnt Hills. You have to come in for the hottest cars, trucks, and SUVs on the market today here at Morris Ford, all with leading technology and advanced safety. With thousands off and low payments, there's never been a better time to buy a new Ford. So come in to Morris Ford and let us show you why we've been selling cars in the Capital District for over 46 years.
Our Terry Morris will always be number one.
Reputable, reliable, results. That's what you get when you call Rick and the professionals at RCT Roofing. Quality service at fair prices. RCT gets the job done. Just like Nick Stone and the RCT Pro Stock. RCT Roofing, we've got you covered. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly as we head to the Can-Am Raceway as a pair of gills up at the front of the field leading the small blocks to the flag. Jordan McCready trying to make his way up through the field in the early going, looking for his second win of 2018, and he would move through the field quick. Ryan Arbonot and Billy Dunn as well, as the caution will come out for Tyler Meeks, who had a little bit of trouble up in turn number 4. Off of the restart is where Jordan McCready would make his move as he would go around the outside of Brady Gill for the number 1 spot, and then, well, Riley and Brady get together, and I have a feeling that's going to make things a little interesting at the Thanksgiving table this year. We'll see how that happens in November. Meanwhile, off the restart, though, now Jordan McCready with some heavy pressure coming behind him as Billy Dunn is there working the outside lane. Almost has him with a sweeping move off the corner, but goes off the cushion just a little bit too far, allowing McCready to keep the spot. But it wouldn't be long before Dunn worked his magic up on the outside, keeping the cushion there, and he would be your new race leader just about 10 laps into this feature event. The R70 of Ryan Arbonot would make his way up into the number 2 spot as well, getting by Jordan McCready, as Ryan Bartlett would try to push his way up in the 93 machine as well down into turn number 3 and 4 that time. But with the back to the battle for the lead as Arbonot would start to close in and the closing stages on Dunn. He would get very close to him up on the high side, about a car length away, but he jumps the cushion that time, allowing Dunn to pull away. Arbonot one last shot up off of turn number 3 and 4. Not enough as Billy Dunn grabs another one out at Can-Am. Second would be Arbonot. Jordan McCready would come home third. Nick Webb would finish in 4th, and Ryan Bartlett would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night, Brian Hudson would pick up the win in the Sportsman. Sid Harmer Jr. in the Pro Street Stocks. Thunder Stocks to Phil DeSorma III. And Kevin Warren, no relation, in the Rookie Sportsman. To the Track of Champions, where Bobby Varon has been on a hot streak lately, but we show you some heat race action coming up first as Nick Anatrello takes a hard hit up through turn number 3 and 4. He would be okay. Modified feature event would see the 1, a Darwin Green, take the early race lead up into turn number 1 and 2 as cars would scatter looking for position here in the early going of this feature event with the number 1 out in front of the field. Bobby Varon, as I mentioned before, trying to work his way up along with Tim Fuller and Josh Hohenforce as Green would continue to lead this one. Craig Hansen would move into the number 2 spot with Jimmy Davis hot on his heels up through turn number 1 and 2 that time. Enter into the picture Demetrius Trollis as he would sit in the number 4 spot as Davis tries to go around Hansen for spot number 2 up off a corner number 2 that time, and Davis would get away. Meanwhile, Tim Fuller trying to work his way up through the field, as was the 24 of Jeremy Wilder up on the outside lane. He get by Sparks for position. Meanwhile, I mentioned Tim Fuller. He's working his way through, trying to make it 3 wide for spot number 3 as he would push to the inside of Craig Hansen. Hansen going to shut the door the first time, but the second time, Fuller going to find the momentum off the corner and eventually clear them both. getting that number 85 Machine Adrelos to move into spot number 3. Fuller continuing to work his way up through the field. He'd make quick work of Jimmy Davis coming down the front straightaway and set his sights on race leader Darwin Green down the back straightaway. And as they head down past the Cow Palace, he'd be your new race leader. But it ends quick as trouble on the 19 machine as Darwin Green drives right back by him for the number 1 spot. And this is where things got interesting. Drello starting to put the fishing pole out in the front, starts to reel in the rest of the field. He gets by the veteran campaigner Jimmy Davis for position with a couple to go, and then makes the move on Darwin Green on the inside as Drellos takes the lead away, and that was all he needed. Is for the first time in his career, Demetrius Drellos going to checkerboard square. Second would be Wilder. Jimmy Davis would come home third, Bobby Barron fourth, and Darwin Green would finish in fifth. Other winners on the night, Sportsman going to Chad Edwards, Josh Kunrad, first career win in the Pro Stocks at Fonda, Limited Sportsman to Derek McGrew Jr., and the Street Stocks to Jason Samaroff. Sportsman feature at the Glen Ridge Motorsports Park as it would get started with Jim Introne and Joe Orlando leading the field up through turn number 1 and 2 as Orlando gets up high, almost into the wall, loses a number of positions as Introne would take the early race lead. Tim Hartman Jr. and Dave Constantino already up into the top 4 in the early going of this one as Orlando would try to fight his way back up through the field to crack the top 5. Meanwhile, wouldn't be long until the 22 of Hartman would pull into the number 2 spot as Introne continued to lead. Then the Perillo Services entry would pull to the inside lane, trying to get by the 9X off at turn number 4 that time. He'd eventually make a move up off at turn number 2, but again, Introne would shut the door. Eventually, though, the 9X would slide to the high side, allowing Hartman to get by, and then Curtis would do the same as well as the 9X bobbles again through the corner, and he'll take the runner-up spot. Joe Orlando trying to fight his way through, and he might have been a little mad about that early first lap incident as he would go right by him, but leave the door back open for Introne to drive back underneath him on the inside to take third. Constantino working his way back up through the field as he would try to make a move on Chris Curtis, but it was all behind Tim Hartman Jr. as he picks up the win out at Glen Ridge. Second would be Curtis. Dave Constantino would come home third. Colin Dubois would be fourth, and Joe Orlando would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night, Limited Sportsman would go to Derek McGrew Jr., Luke Horning in the Pro Stocks, Street Stocks to Cliff Haslam, Cole Lawton in the 4-cylinder dual cam, 4-cylinder single cam will go to CJ Shepler, Mike Hill in the senior slingshots, and Casey Huffcutt in the junior slingshots. When we come back on Race Pro Weekly, a milestone Pro Stock event at the Tribute. And we'll go into pits with a Sportsman driver known for taking it to the top side. Performance, quality, service. That's DMC Racing Products. Hundreds of name brand parts, competitive prices. That's DMC. DMC Racing Products, race to win. If you are a tracker series that would like to be highlighted on Race Pro Weekly, email us at show@raceproweekly.com. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly. Sportsman modified action at the Devil's Bowl Speedway as the field would go through topless night. One of my favorite nights at the Speedway, as it would be Frank Hoare Jr. with the early race lead in this event, pushing down through turn number 3 and 4 as VQ2 Vince Quinville Jr. works his way up into the runner-up spot with Brian Whittemore right on his tail, working the inside lane up off at turn number 2. Caution would come out onto the Speedway as the F8 machine with a little bit of trouble down the backstretch, and then off the restart, Quinville will go to the number 1 spot. Hey, they're 5 wide, and Marty Kelly right in the middle of it. Josh Sun going to look to make a move, and he kind of bonsais it into turn number 3, and he makes that move stick as he would work his way up toward the top 5. Flying Jimmy Ryan and Frank Hoare battling for position down the back straightaway as David Schilling and Kenny Tremont, who hasn't lost since opening night on Memorial Day weekend, looking to pick up another big victory. Tremont will get in front of Schilling off of the corner as you see him roll through off of turn number 4. Then they battle on the back straightaway when the 115 comes down on the 20s right front, going down into turn number 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Quinville trying to hold on to the lead, but Josh Sun looking for his second win in 2018 would push his way to the inside, and he'd be your new race leader up off of turn number 4. Sun brings him down on the inside lane off the corner as Quinville trying to battle back, looking for win number 1. Ryan battling with Whittemore for spot number 3 down and through turn number 3 and 4. The cars still continuing to push up through the field in the last-ditch effort as Whittemore and Quinville continue to battle for several laps. Schilling trying to crack the top 5. He works to the inside of Justin Combs, trying to take that spot away up through turn number 1 and 2, but it's all behind Josh Sun as he picks up win number 2 on the season out at Devil's Bowl. Jimmy Ryan would finish in second. Vince Quinville would come home in spot number 3. Fourth on the grid would be Brian Whittemore, and Dave Schilling would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night, Limited Sportsman would go to Joey Roberts. Chris Murray would pick up the win in the Super Stocks. Mike Preston in the Mini Stocks and the Mini Sprints would go to Austin Chaves. Pro Stock action from the Tribute event, as it would be Josh Kutran taking the early race lead up into turn number 1 and 2. And the word of the day in this highlight, unfortunately, folks, is yellow. Field going to work its way up off by turn number 3 and 4 as Domblewski and Ivan Joslin come together, sending the 8 machine up and over. He would be okay, but the car taking a lot of damage. A tough break for Ivan Joslin. Off of the restart, field would work its way up off by turn number 2 as Kim Duell would look to make his challenge toward the front of the field in the early going. Fighting for the lead, would drive it a little bit harder than he would have liked to, and the 0-0 goes around, collecting the third place man as well, setting up a new race leader in the 2 of Brandon Amy. That would make the 14 of Kim Duell in the number 2 spot, and it wouldn't be long before Duell would power around the 2 on the outside lane and take the race lead away. Dean Charbonneau trying to follow for the number 2 spot up off at turn number 4 that time. He does, as he would try to run down Kim Duell. Meanwhile, as the field makes its way through, Rick Duzlak in a rare appearance here at Albany Saratoga goes around collecting Jimmy Eaton, Brandon Gray, Matt Roberts, Dan Older, and a number of other cars as well, as the caution would come out, as it took everybody, all hands on deck, to get the 0-0 machine back over. Gray would make his way out of the car. Again, he would be okay. Car not so much. Off the restart, Jay Corbin going to look to take that number 8 machine to the number 2 spot as the caution will come out for Walt Brownell on the front straightaway as well. Then off the restart, the Corbin goes around, and we got what I like to call a parking lot party up in turn number 1 and 2. A tough break as now cousin Luke gets involved for the second time in the feature. Corbin sees a great run go away. Duell will continue to lead this one up into turn number 1 and 2 as your race leader. Charbonneau trying to make his move as Scott Townsley going to go around on the back straightaway as well and come to a stop. Meanwhile, Storm and Norman Luby are fighting for that number 2 spot, trying to hold off Dan Older, all behind Kim Duell, who wins his 50th career feature event overall at the Tribute, and a great battle for second going to go to Storm and Norman Lubier. Dan Older would finish in third, Matt Roberts fourth. Byron Westcott would round out the top 5. Other winners from last Friday night out at Albany Saratoga, it was Jason Gray picking up his second career Sportsman win. Fast Eddie Thompson with a big win in the Pro Stocks. Limited Sportsman going to Stephen Neer. Held over Street Stock feature going to Randy Miller. The regularly scheduled Street Stock feature going to Dave Cook. 4-cylinder single cam to Dave LaBarge, and the dual cam to Jared Powell. For many years, Adam McAuliffe has made his way up through the ranks in the Sportsman division in the Capital Region, including with some big wins outside of the area this season. Fast Eddie caught up with him in the pits last Friday night on how his season is going.
Adam, good start to your season so far. How would you rate it?
Out of a 10, I'd say we got a solid 8.5 going right now. Started out with a couple wins out of the state. One down in Delaware, one at Bridgeport. We got a second here at Malta that same weekend. I think we're rolling pretty good.
Talk about those wins. How good was it to go down out of state and beat those guys?
Well, I always like to try some new stuff here and there, and showing up to 2 different tracks that I've never been at before was something different and a little nerve-wracking, but I almost am more comfortable going somewhere else than coming to my local tracks.
DKM as a chassis. What made you decide to go with DKM?
Well, I've known Dave and Kyle and Eric for quite a while. I actually did a little sheet metal work with them on my off time, and I don't know, they started this deal, and the cars, they work well for me. I can't complain about it. Their service is next to none. Anything I need, they're right there calling me all the time. They're just a bunch of good guys.
The car counts in the Sportsman division are high on a weekly basis. How tough is it to even make the show, let alone win a race?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, Malta gets quite a few cars here. When you start last, like we had the last 3 weeks in a row, it's tough to get up there, but we manage it.
What is the goals for the team for this season?
just want to rack some more wins under our belt. We got to do a little more traveling here next month, and hopefully we can just stack some wins.
It's now time for this week's NISCO Performer of the Week, and with his first career win at the Track of Champions, it goes to the number 85 of Demetrius Trelos. Trelos is now eligible for the Performer of the Year award given out at the end of the season. That's all for this week's show. For the latest news, results, and photos, check out Race Pro Weekly online at www.raceproweekly.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So for myself, Bobby Chalmers, Fast Eddie, Scott Morlock, Amber Chalmers, and everyone that helps put Race Pro Weekly together, thank you for watching this week's episode, and we'll see you next time.